drafting phase, where the first game here, Blacklist International going up against DEVU, where I will be looking at the roamers. 100% Matilda for Renegade, 100% Sao on the Diggy. I want to see the bans.
I'm definitely excited for our first draft of the night here. We're already seeing some of these bans. Matilda going to be banned out from the side of DEVU. A lot of respect for Renegade.
Yep, right now DEVU is the first pick, Blacklist International, the second pick, Blacklist going for those jungler bans, betting out the Nolan as well as the Guinevere. DEVU betting out the Matilda as well as the 1-1. I'm just going to put my point in as well because you guys were talking about the mentality game. I kind of feel like Blacklist mentality, they don't lose to the same team twice, is going to help them out in this best of 5. Because I feel like in the long series, Blacklist is going to learn much more about their opponents than what their opponents can learn about them.
Definitely possible. I think there's a lot of angles you could come at this. Blacklist, I'm wondering, do they still have anything up their sleeve, and are they going to need to use it here? We saw that DEVU has a little bit of a larger hero pool right now with 25 picks over Black, only showing 20. But it could also mean that Blacklist is willing to just sit. They're very comfortable. They have what they need already, and it's been working very well for them.
At this point, I kind of feel like Faramis is going to be a pretty solid pick here. But again, giving Yue that Valentina is going to be very dangerous because Yue is one of those players that doesn't matter what kind of composition the opponent wants, he'll just take the Valentina just because it's going to serve the team incredibly. So I kind of feel like this is where DEVU, they're really considering. Do they want the Faramis? Do they want something else like an Angela?
Or a Lilia, right? Something that they have been able to first pick a lot of times, but they go for the Baksha instead. A pick that kind of gave Blacklist International in the early game up against Geek Fam yesterday when Nile was on it a lot of problems. So maybe that might be the angle of attack for DEVU. They want to take control in the early stage and snowball.
So do we think we see a response like the Valentina Bruno here? A lot of things still on. I feel like the Basha pick, yes, it's solid, but we don't see a first pick blue side a whole lot. Just because a lot of time there are some power marksmen on the field, there's some power mid laners on the field. I think it's decent, especially like you said, taking it away from Sensui. It gives them some fast pace as well. But how much are they sacrificing just for the Basha here?
I feel like they're trying to threaten Blacklist International to pick up something like the Angela because the Angela as well as the Baksha is very good tempo play from the early going to the mid. So Blacklist International, it's up to them. They're picking up the Bruno and the Valentina, so they're not staying away from the game plan. Even if DEVU, they pick up something like a Faramis, something like an Angela, Blacklist is going to have it too. And again, we saw Yue on this Valentina. It's Yuelentina.
Yuelentina?
Yuelentina.
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 I like it. I like it very much.
I don't, but thank you very much.
It's great. It's great. DEVU, on the other hand, still looking for 2 more picks. Do they lock in the marksman now? The Ixia maybe. We saw it last time. Carvey used it great to counter against it. Faramis, solid as well.
At this point, I would kind of pick up the Claude if they're very comfortable with the Claude, but looks like they're going for the Terizla, where again, let me just say one thing. This is the stark difference that both teams' playstyle is. For Blacklist International, they're very comfortable with disengage. They're very comfortable with kiting, and they're very comfortable with a prolonged team fight. One of the reasons why I kind of feel like the Akai is banned out, because the Akai is going to make it very difficult for DEVU to start any kind of team fight. So I feel like the ban is dictating the picks here for DEVU.
And right now for Blacklist International, right, this is the question now. For DEVU, they've already secured a basically trio mid and also that top side, a really strong side. Blacklist, it seems like the question, before I even asked it, was already answered. They want to compete in that trio mid division. They want to try to get neutral objectives as much as possible, and they need to facilitate that with giving a utility pick, a good one to last hit, like the Fredrid for Sensui. Yesterday, we saw Akais all throughout. Now it's taken away, so the Fredrid. What do you think about this choice, right? I mean, the Fredrin has fallen hard out of popularity, out of the prio list, and it hasn't really had the best of tournaments so far.
I mean, Sensui has had a good Fredrin, though. Blacklist is one of the same teams that have had decent Fredrin games overall. They're one of the same teams right now that are like falling back to that regularly. Something important to point out, though, Renegade, the heel man, 100% win rate on the Raft right now, and I almost thought they were gonna slot that in before they slotted in the Fredrin. So at this point, I think something important for DEVU, with Renegade not picked up right now, they need to focus hard in that hero pool. I think maybe ban out the Raft here. They decide to go for the Lapu instead. Maybe not a whole lot of fear.
I feel like it's because that's what Geek Fam tried to do against Blacklist, and it didn't work.
Yeah, honestly, at this point, I feel like for Blacklist, one of the advantages that they have for Renegade, it is like a Swiss Army knife. He can do it all. He can play a catch hero. He can play a healer hero. At this point, it does become a situation. Going up against the Faramis, the Rafaela is very solid because not a lot of dashes coming in from Deus Volt, so that slow coming in from the Rafaela, it is going to have a difference. But I feel like the moment they see who is going to be their roamer is going to dictate. Is this going to be a Rafaela game? Is this going to be something different, like a Kaja, like a Cho game? So I'm looking at Blacklist International with the lineup that they have. I kind of feel like we need more of the heal man rather than the hit man. And now banning out the Minotaur as well. I don't know. I kind of feel like having something like a Rafa, having something like a Estes would be pretty good.
I think so too, right? For Deus Volt, they have such a big AoE comp already. Going for the Estes, I think the Estes might be a bit more risky, right? Considering there's so much AoE damage and also already some anti-regen built into their composition with that Boxia pick. So something like a Rafaela gets you out, gets you that maneuverability as well. But something else that might come through for Blacklist is that Diggy. We haven't seen it for Blacklist International, but we have seen it from Sawo. It might be also not just a pick that's great for Blacklist, but a good deny pick from Deus Volt.
I think, yeah, and we know Blacklist has that in your kit. You mentioned the Swiss Army knife. I don't think it's anything completely out of their range. Do we jump into game one with that, though? Do we deny that immediately? DEVU didn't fall back to the Diggy pick until game 5 last night, and it makes me wonder, like, was that even a pick that they used a whole lot in the past? Was it even a pick that was very important to them, or was it something that just started really kind of hitting fruition for them in the M series? Blacklist International on the gun now, looking for the first pick.
I kind of feel like for that Diggy pick, it's the strongest when you don't expect it.
Yeah.
Right? Like, after 3 games, after 4 games, they're like, oh, Sawa's going to pick this, going to pick that, and then all of a sudden he picks the Diggy. He's like, how can we forget about the Diggy? Now the Paquito getting picked up here.
You can hear the crowd. That's a signature pick for Agent Zero. Edward Balboa was his nickname at M3.
And having this Paquito on their lineup, they have multiple ways to play the map. And since you talk about Diggy, let's talk about Diggy.
Yeah, the master of time, hoot hoot, Sawo, has recorded a 100% win rate with Diggy in 4 games. So 4 games with the Raf on Renegade,
100%.
4 games with the Diggy on Sawo,
100%.
100%.
So total, quick maths, 8 games, 100%.
Oh, yeah.
200%. 8, right?
No. I mean,
that's not how it works.
I don't think that's how it works.
I agree with you, Trex.
But you also agree with Miracle.
Nah, Mirko can go to the side. Deus Volt now, having the Brody as well as having the Angela here, a lot of protection. But I'm looking at the early to mid. The team has to move as a team to really contest for objectives here.
You know, we saw a great game from DEVU the other day. The Sawo Carvey combo with the Harkard and the Bruno. This time it's going to be the Brody, but still, we know that combination is lethal.
I kind of feel like for Deus Volt, it is going to be a matchup where you have to look at the rotations 1 minute 30 to the first 3 minutes. That's where we will see whether they can actually handle what Blacklist is going to do. And now the final pick here, now that they see the Brody as well as the Angela, quite a lot of good roamer picks for Renegade.
And it's also still very explosive for Deus Volt, right? They have a lot of just burst damage in the start of the fight, but then when it gets to that prolonged stage,
Tigreal!
Blacklist say we can try to do what you've been doing. We can team fight our way as well. If you want to be explosive, we have a Tigreal here with that implosion. We're not going to see the heal man, we're going to see the hit man.
Here's the thing, looking at the composition from Blacklist as well as Deus Volt, Blacklist can play a composition of a 4-1 and then slowly get into a 5-man game again. So macro play, I kind of feel like Blacklist with their composition, they have the advantage here.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a whole lot to look at. Renegade getting a very aggressive roam pick. But we're about to jump into the land of dawn. Come on, Philippines and viewers from around the world. It's game number 1 of the semi-final lower bracket. Blacklist International going up against Deus Volt. It's going to be a hype one, boys. Who we got?
5 seconds till the enemy reaches the battle.
I was worried for a second there. I feel like even the crowd hold their breath for a bit. But now we're jumping into the game. And again, I want to see the early rotations coming in from both teams, looking like a lot of protection coming in from Blacklist International, making sure that Sensui's early movement all around the map, all around the jungle is not going to get interrupted.
And I really like that point, right? Because for Blacklist International, you mentioned they have more ways to get in this game. Mainly, I would say that XP lane advantage with the mobility, right? Maybe when it comes to clear and trades, not as good, but that mobility from the Bakito will definitely help him get more rotations on the map with Sensui to get that trio mid running.
All right, so we got the Hitman Paquito. We got Renny J and a very aggressive roamer as well. I feel like Blacklist may be able to get a little bit aggressive in the early game, maybe even push into enemy jungle, try to invade, try to disrupt the aggression that Deuce Vault wants to bring to them.
Right now, looking at the emblem set here, looking at Carvey with the Brody with the Master Assassin, it looks like he wants to stay in the lane for quite a bit, trying to get a solo kill if possible.
Look at this roam though, Edward coming down, Renegade very low. Sunset Lover needs to run away. Sawo gonna be the target, but Sensui will just commit the retreat. Doesn't really want to go for anything too much in the early stage.
All right, so Blacklist International making some quick rotations. Edward is definitely going to be able to move around the map a bit more than Kid Bomba, but anything crazy about these first item buys?
Oh.
Honestly, looking at the Elegant Gem here coming in from Sunset Lover, I kind of feel like he's going to have a better time around the turtle, but I want to talk about the rotations here because Edward cut the lane very, very fast, and now Sensui is targeting the EXP lane.
It's a good chunk of damage onto Kid Bomba. He's forced back. Magister rotating up top as well. Bomba forced to use that regen early, and he's going to lose a lot of prio in that lane.
And he loses the gold crab over to UA there. Turtle going to be up in just a few seconds.
Rotation advantage utilized by Blacklist International. Now onto the turtle, the first one of the game. Appraiser's Rat by Sensui to get the job done even faster. Edward in the back, knockout strike to zone them away, but now it's going to be Edward caught in a bad spot. A good Nether Realm coming down, the implosion. Disengages for them, Renegade sweeps them back all the way to Edward, but they have to disengage. Renegade with a flicker, defensively. Sawo on top of Magister, running Renegade down. Yue has the flicker ready, but he doesn't need to commit it. He falls back in the way. Kid Bomba looking for a dive. Yue very low, looking for an outplay, finds it. Falls, and Yue claims first blood.
DEVU biting off a little more than they could chew right there, but well played from both sides. Blacklist coming out on top though.
Right now we're looking at a hero counter here for the Boxia as well as the Fredwin. 50% win rate, but I gotta say for Blacklist International, the game that they're playing is priority. Edward having that priority allows them to maneuver better in the fight. And here's the thing, this is a Deus Vult thing. When they see an opportunity, they go for it. And Blacklist International, this is what I'm talking about. They're very good at kiting. The moment they understand they can't win, they're gonna have a safe distance. So Deus Vult, they gotta be careful. They're playing into Blacklist International's plan.
Man, I gotta say, the agents are going crazy right now.
Hard guard coming down, Carvey with re-engage onto Renegade. Now it's Magister, Shield Unity, locking Sensui down just for a bit. Sensui racking up those stacks into the Appraiser's Wrath. Yue still has the flicker, decides to pop it off, but now it's gonna be the chase down and the torn apart memory to equalize in the early game. That's 1-1.
I would say the only mistake there was that Yue was separated from his team, and because of that, maximum damage coming in from Carvey because of his emblem setup with the Master Assassin. So if Renegade was around closer to Carvey, he could have survived.
DEVU, you know this is when they're feeling good. This is the mentality that they need coming in this game. Sawo dropping the TPs, dropping the taunts right now, but we are having a first look at these items, LaFell.
I kind of feel like the power spike is going to be a little bit faster for Sunset Lover just because the item that he's building is a little bit cheaper. But before that, Edward goes in!
A big punch onto Sawa, knocks him out. Sunset Lover zoned away. Now it's Magister who's looking for an angle back to try to claim this turtle, but Sensui is one level ahead. Yue dealing some good damage. The Terrify as well to pressure Kid Bomba. That's an explosion from Renegade. Forcing the Nether Realm, but Edward looking for the flank right now. Jumps in with a jab. Another one to take the Nether Realm HP. That's Yue with another Nether Realm as well, and Renegade will fall. Deus Vult have won on this team fight. Appraiser's Wrath.
Nice flicker
from Kid Bomba with amazing flicker. Sensui disengaging. Now it's going to be Edward jumping out of Sunset Lover, finding the kill. And Carvey flicker forward onto the minion waves. Edward still surviving. The torn apart memory dealing not enough damage to take him down as Oheb rotates as well. Meanwhile, Magister with a good steal onto the enemy purple buff. Blacklist International lose out on this turtle pit fight.
We're only 5 minutes in, guys. 5 minutes in on game one. And Deus Vult and Blacklist International are swinging right now. It's been a kill a minute, technically.
I kind of feel like for Blacklist, the idea is we start the engage. Don't allow Deus Volt to start the engage, because for Deus Volt to win the team fight, they got to go in hard. They got to make sure whatever they want, they get it as fast as they can, because Blacklist International, even though they don't have a healer, this is how they play. They know how to play prolonged team fights. So Blacklist International, they're completely fine with committing first, force Deus Volt to use all of their skills, and then they just take over the team fight later. Blacklist International, they're playing with Deus Volt. Deus Volt has to recognize this. You got to be proactive. Don't let Blacklist do whatever they want first.
And that's due to the rotation speed, right? That game of prio that Blacklist International are slowly utilizing to get this lead. It just seems like Deus Volt, even when they want to retaliate, they get there a bit too late.
Man, Edward is definitely going to be the saving grace of the team right now. 2-0-0. He had about a 1,000K gold lead over Kid Bamba, or about an 800K gold lead over Kid Bamba. He is just feeling himself right now.
I can't believe he has 1,000K.
1,000K?
That's like, what, a million?
It's a lot.
That's a lot of, yeah.
You understood what I was saying.
Yeah. Nah, you know, analysts. Anyways, looking at the situation here, looks like Blacklist International, they are hovering around the turtle pit. They're trying to figure out where Deus Volt is. They see Magister. And I kind of feel like they should have an idea of where Sunset Lover as well as Carby is. They do. They just confirmed it. They just confirmed it. So now, Blacklist International, they're waiting for a setup coming in from Renegade.
Sensui has got an angle, a great one. The last hit, he jumps in all the way, but Magister is the one who picks it up. A bit of a miscalculation by Sensui as Carby dishes out some damage. Edward getting caught right now, flickers out, but will still fall to Kid Bamba.
They needed that. They needed that kill on Edward. It was very important to slow him down. Deus Volt still behind, but keeping up overall.
Implosion onto that top side, shoving him back as well. Another realm saves him just for a bit. Carby with a good stun onto Yue, but that's another realm stolen away. Torn apart memory gonna be used up, but not the right timing. Yue flickers out to safety, and just like that, both teams disengage once again. Sensui baiting.
Let me just say, Sunset Lover is a lover. He's all around the map. Every single time someone gets picked off, quote unquote picked off, he's there with the NetherRealm. The movement coming in, and especially because we looked at his emblem set, all about movement speed. He wants to make sure that he's a utility mid laner, but the thing is, now he has the Necklace of Durance. 2 more items, he becomes a damage dealer as well.
Definitely very true. Stats starting to get evened out here. Taking a look at some of the items. Oheb's closing in on that Berserker's Fury. Once he gets that and he can start rotating around the map a bit, and there it is, it just locked in. Now we're going to start seeing some damage really start to unload from Oheb.
That's the thing, right? For the power spikes, even though Oheb is gaining gold at a very good pace, Brody's going to hit his power spike a bit earlier. So Blacklist International need to be very careful about this mid-game power spike. They're already getting turrets across the board. Carvy's doing the same, trading it up top. But Blacklist seems like they want to go for more. I don't know if Kid Bamba can defend this all alone, but he should be able to clear the waves up. Penalty zone onto the back. Magister flanking as well onto Renegade, but it's a good peel. Kid Bamba with a flicker. Implosion to save the team, but Oheb gets ran down. It's another realm a bit late by Yue as he stole it just earlier, but his nether realm HP is getting taken now. Renegade isolated from the rest of the team and should be taken down by the 4-man squad of Deus Volt. They get the turret though.
I gotta say, man, looking at Blacklist International, that was good, but Deus Volt, what's the communication there? Because Kid Bamba was very patient. The moment the close proximity comes in, they're like, yeah, guys, let's just go in. That was a good call from Deus Volt.
A risky move from Edward. Falls to the torn apart memory in the mid lane. He tried to defend that all alone, and now with no Edward, Sensui, his odds of getting this red tree down will be very, very slim. Kid Bamba poking him down. Yue coming down as well. The Appraiser's Wrath gets rid of Kid Bamba, but it bought enough time ready for Magister to secure the Lord. Carby, gotta be careful, the hard guard comes in. Yue dashing forward to face, but Carby falls. Oheb getting a lot of damage done. The Implosion Flicker combo comes in from Renegade as he finds another, and it's a double kill for Oheb.
All it takes is one play to turn a game around. Deus Volt secures the Lord with Blacklist International. This is something they've been doing for the past 2 days now.
I would say that's not worthwhile trade for Deus Volt. The Lord, one Lord against like what, 3 devs? Totally not worth it, especially because he was on the carry. Carby made a crucial mistake. At that HP, he should have backed off. No matter the vision, even if you just see one person against a team like Blacklist, someone's waiting around the corner. That was a total mistake coming in from Carvey.
I think they thought they had staggered the death timers enough to make a big play again happen, just like they did into Edward in the mid lane. Magister, all alone, has a hard guard to keep him very safe. Sunset Lover doing the best he can to give or to find value with the Lord. But unfortunately, due to that mistake, they won't be able to find any value here. Maybe aside from the tier 1 in the mid lane, which does equalizes things a bit more. The minions should be able to take it down. No!
Whoa.
Edward punches the minions out.
I love the fact, though, that Deus Vult right now is bringing it to Blacklist. A lot of people probably came into this wondering if they were going to be able to match up against such a top-tier team.
Looking at the items here, a big game changer for Sao, having the Flask of the Oasis, as well as having the fleeting time, means that Deus Vult getting one kill is going to matter so much to them because they can prolong the team fight even longer. Having the Flask of the Oasis makes it so that for Deus Vult, honestly, if Sao goes into Magister or Kid Bomba, might benefit him more, and Carvey just tries to free hit.
Opening up the map, Magister now going to be taunted down. The hard guard on him. It's not going to be used up just yet. Carvey as well finds those stacks. Now it's the time for the question, LaFell. My question. Deus Vult have more healing for long team fights, but Blacklist International have more damage for long team fights. So, who wins out in these long team fights?
I would say Blacklist International have been playing this game for such a long time. I feel like the advantage is still on them, even though, like, on paper, looking at the draft, it should be Deus Vult. But you cannot, like, you can't explain the numbers of experience. I still think it's for Blacklist International.
Yeah, definitely still the favorite, but honestly, it could turn at any moment. Carvey taking one death, still doing well. Also locked in the Malefic Roar. Sitting right behind Oheb in terms of gold, but Oheb is definitely gonna have a higher peak right here. Gonna have a higher scale overall. Deus Vult may be running out of time.
That's the thing, right? He's already hit critical mass, so Deus Vult really needs to look for an egg gun, just like this is when I say it. Carvey gets engaged on. The hard guard used up already. A pretty big resource in the 12th minute of the game.
As long as Deus Vult doesn't get any kill or assist for like, what, 30 seconds, it's a big win for Blacklist International. The moment Blacklist makes a mistake, gives over a kill, then the fleeting time will trigger and it will basically null the advantage. So now Blacklist International, 3,000 gold lead. They're in a better spot here for the Lord.
And they're great at Lord dances here. Holding it down, resetting again, the quick discipline as they get rid of the midway, but Carvey's doing the same thing on the other side of the map in the top lane. Mid lane pushing down, they need to deal with that or they're gonna lose their tier 2 turret. Sunset Lover barely gets there, and Kid Bomba gets isolated because of that. He takes a whole lot of damage now, and Blacklist International done a lot of damage on the Lord.
Oh, no.
Magister shield unity canceled. Kid Bomba with the penalty zone with the hard guard as well. Yue gonna be isolated from the team right now as he pops in the nether realm, but that's gonna be the implosion. Disengage in the back. Still, Blacklist International needs to run away. Deus Vult are charging in. They're screaming Deus Vult as Renegade blinkers back at Oheb. Finds the damage necessary to take Kid Bomba down.
And Edward with the moves, Edward with the grooves. A quick little step in just to pick up the kill onto Kid Bomba, showing who's the better EXP.
Blacklist was patient, man. Again, this is where the experience goes in. They understand the strengths of the hero of Deus Vult. They're conditional. The damage is conditional. When you're clumped up, you're gonna receive maximum damage. So just go away, use all the dashes that you have, create your distance, and having the Haas Claw on this Bruno, alongside with the Malefic Roar, with the Berserker Fury, just hitting the jungle creep is gonna heal you up so much.
And the awareness as well, right, LaFell? The fact that they know they have Oheb dealing this much damage, you don't need to go for engages, Renegade. Just use the implosion appeal.
And they keep on, they're literally walking into the implosion at this point. Renegade doesn't even have to try to hit anybody, he just waits for them, because that's the way that Deus Vult plays. It makes the Tigreal look like it was meant just to counter their aggressive play style here. So DEVU needs to find a way around that.
So something to note, even if there's no Akai, the Tigreal's there doing basically the same job.
This is going to be tough. Their wave clear isn't too good. Deus Vult in the bottom lane. Edward getting the turret down all the way, top side as well. It's the Lord who did the work. Now it's only down to one base turret left for Deus Vult in this defense. And Blacklist International, they choose to take the discipline route. They will disengage.
So LaFell, At this point, Deus Volt sitting in the back, 6,000 gold behind. You know, it's definitely a hard one, but we did like their composition overall. Is this just a time of, do we just need to wait it out and wait for the big play to happen? Or are the odds even less than that?
No, the big play is if somehow Kid Bomba or Sunset Lover can get onto OHEB, because OHEB is the reason why they've been winning this prolonged team fight, the damage and the sustainability. If they can figure out a way to drop him down, there is a chance. Because without OHEB, I would say, even though they have the experience, they can't win, it's just that they won't lose the fight.
It's crazy, the fact that, you know, obviously for UA, for OHEB, we've been seeing these numbers pop up, but you'd expect Carvey and Sunset Lover to be doing the most damage for Deus Volt, but it's the Bomba himself that's up there, just second to OHEB. Is he building damage, or is it just a normal build? He's just finding the right targets?
I would say it's because he keeps finding those AoE damage, because Blacklist International, they do like to clump up. And we saw the engages coming in from Kid Bomba with a penalty zone. He, if I'm not mistaken, he only has the Fury Hammer. And I don't think at this point it's going to be all that great unless he goes for a Hunter Strike. Hunter Strike, maybe, but only if your mentality is to get OHEB.
All right, so DEVU, I think they're going to have to try to go for this Lord. But if they're going to do that, Magister can't take too much damage before they engage. He needs to make sure he gets close and maybe look for the cheap play here. DEVU taking their time with it, though.
The kiting is beautiful from Blacklist International. The Lord dance here has been phenomenal for Blacklist. Sensui's on it. Yue. There was some damage, penalty zone. Then locks on to Yue, and it's on the memory coming down into the back line, but another round is going to be popped in. Renegade, Implosion, locking him down, but it's another round. Renegade going to be zoned away, and Sensui finds a massive Appraiser's Wrath to take it down. Edward loses immortality. Yue very low, still able to survive. Carvey going to get the stun, but OHEB flickers forward. That's a triple. Yue steals it away, and now it's just Sunset Lover all alone in his base. He's done it before. Can he do it again?
The agents are on fire. A valiant effort from Deus Volt. The Blacklist are closing in.
He won't be able to. 1 second on Sunset Lover against 5 members, 5 agents who stay targeted down the base. Game number 1. Blacklist International strikes first.
Blacklist International repping the Philippines right now, showing Deus Volt who runs this show.
Again, Blacklist understands this game, and they make Deus Volt play their game. Deus Volt, they got to figure out, based on game number 1, the changes they have to make. Because Blacklist International, they knew what they were going up against. The Akai is not there. Well, looks like the Tigreal is a very good substitute.
Yeah, very solid pick indeed. I think that pick alone was the bane of Deus Volt's existence that game. So many times they got close to getting the pickoffs, but then would just get stopped in their tracks. But we aren't the brains of this show. Let's throw it over to the wonderful, beautiful, handsome Leo and Wolf.
A very entertaining and explosive way to start this best of 5 between Blacks International and Deus Volt. Welcome to the analyst stand at your service. My name is Leo here with Wolf. And I gotta say, Rizal Memorial Coliseum, are you not entertained? Is that not the kind of match you want to start with?
Then we can see that it was the signature playstyle of DEVU at the same time the signature playstyle of Blacklist International clashing together. We knew that at the start of this match, this will be a styles clash, and we were given what we wanted. It's just that the Ube specialists reigned through.
And was it not just yesterday, less than 24 hours ago, that Blacklist International had to dealt with a very aggressive team in Geek Fam who owned the better part of the 8 and 9 minute mark, and then that's when Blacklist had to figure it out. Here, they were coming in, cocked and loaded. They were ready to face off against a team that was so ready to fight. Again, Davai Gaming at its best.
I'm just surprised how DEVU went for this play, going for the Angela plus the Brody. It allowed them to be that aggressive, and that is actually the way to go. Now, going into this game number 1, we know that our MVP was OHEB. Unforgettable moment when after winning the second Lord of the game, what DEVU did was to actually run down the Blacklist International. Davai Gaming again, but OHEB kept his ground. Was able to punish Magister, the backshed that was chasing them. And many times in this game, OHEB's positioning allowed them to punish DEVU when DEVU wanted to push for more kills. It's all about that play. And Oheb, he dealt so much damage in that regard.
You'll see here in the highlights as we run through them the moments in this game where Oheb showed that his Bruno was very much capable of dealing with Deus Volt's very aggressive forward front-to-front lineup. There was a part in the broadcast where our English desk, they asked, hey, between the styles of the lineups and the play style of DEVU and Blacklist, who would win come the late game? I think the answer was clear. As long as Oheb continued playing this way, his auto attacks would trump all of the ults.
Yeah. Let the record show that Mr. Leo actually copied how the Bruno did it, how Oheb did it. All right.
Kicking balls.
Kicking mounts. And by the way, I want to say that Renegade played so well in this game. I mean, come on. I have already posted so much about Renegade, and people might think that we are biased, but look at him in this game. Was able to save his teammates so many times. I think that this was a unique way of utilizing the implosion. This is a defensive implosion. All of the usages, maybe 9 out of 10 times that Renegade used the implosion was for defense. Watch out for Oheb, the way that he was able to punish the overextension coming out from DEVU, and then another one as for some reason, the members of Blacklist International just survived through. And this is mainly because of the flicker usages, the battle spell usages, as well as the immortalities. In this particular game, all of the particular clash, I mean, all of the resources were in favor of Blacklist International. In fact, they had the battle spells, they have the ultimates, they have the immortality, and they have the better positioning, as well as the better items. I think that was when you already know that when it comes to the late game, Blacklist are masters of it.
That's right. We'll get deeper into the builds in just a bit. You want to know exactly what's keeping that Tigreal as tough as it was? Look at Renegade.
All right.
That's what you got to build, folks. And as well, I like the touch on the concussive blast. It helps clear waves faster for you to be able to reposition and then allow for a game to end at a reasonable pace.
That's right. And we know for sure that the Wilder's Blessing also plays very big part in this particular playstyle of Renegade. You saw he's able to get into the position faster when it comes to punishing, more so than when it is them trying to start the fights. Because, again, why would you try to start the fight as Blacklist International? You're facing DeVi Gaming. Let them come to you, counter it with Implosion.
And the exact term that we use is the turn. They are turn specialists.
That's
and
right.
Because of that, Edward's able to flank. A lot of the entries from Agent Zero came in from post-engage, coming in from when he was clearing top and then going through mid and joining the fight later on. Looking at the items here, again, I think the Radiant Armor came into play, which acted like a baby Guardian helmet, wherein he would conceal away, flicker away, and then come back with just this much health, enough to survive and then fight again.
Yeah, and obviously Edward picking up the Windtalker eventually to finish the game. That is not part of his build. Don't copy that. Not because you see Edward utilize the Windtalker on the Paquito, it means that you would use it. That was used to end the game. By the way, Kid Bomba, I would say that this is the game that he might be comfortable in playing, but at the same time he was countered as well. You can see the Blacklist International, the way that they drafted this, they let the Faramis through and then take the signature Valentina. Then eventually they went in for the tank build with the Fredrin as well as this Tigreal to kind of man the front lines. It's a very well put out draft and composition from Blacklist International.
And also looking at, again, the highlight player from pre-series. Before we even began, we put a spotlight onto the mid lane Magician Yue, dealing a lot of damage. If you dealt more damage as a Valentina compared to Sunset Lover on the Faramis, wherein you're fighting the Ube, again, clumped up heroes, that is a dream come true for a Faramis. Yue was doing amazing. He was doing great work, better than great work. Because what is that? You're playing with range, you're playing with threat assessment, with target acquisition, which I think you'll see if you roll back the tape. Blacklist International had just trumped Deus Volt. Despite being DeVi Gaming, when it came down to picking the right targets at the right time, Blacklist got them checked.
And what is really weird about this DeVi Gaming is that it makes a lot of sense going for the Brody as well as the Angela. But I guess the combination of double supports plus the Brody might not work so much. Maybe if it was the Claude, right, it will deal the damage in the late game. But you can see that there was severe lack of damage from the side of DEVU, that you felt it in the late game or the mid-game stages of the game. You saw that when they jump in, yeah, they do. It was very explosive. They have the Faramis as well. But they didn't have a closing statement to their sentences. for example, or their paragraphs, they cannot close it even with the torn apart memory because of two things. First, they don't have enough damage because of their composition. Second, man, Blacklist is good at kiting. They actually avoid the torn apart memory so many times.
Yeah, again, it's become more and more popular in the past couple of months. The reverse collapse, the fade away team fight. It's happened so many times in the last quarter of MLBB esports from all around the world. Looking at the damage taken, I gotta highlight Magister. Magister was maybe second or third most damage dealt for Deus Volt, but also he is second most damage received.
That's right.
So with that said, again, you're seeing how these little bits and pieces of Deus Volt's lineup are making up for their lack of reliable damage.
Yes, which I guess in a way it works against normal teams, but against a team like Blacklist International who knows how to kite, it's better that you will. It's better if you are able to burst them, right? But there's also a downside, obviously. This DEVU lineup, it was at least in my eyes, it was a gamble because they went in for Brody plus D'Angela. Makes a lot of sense, but going up against a team that is great at kiting, and I think that the casters pointed that so well in the particular skirmishes that when it comes to